Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hivemind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of CNN. The Clinton News Network. They lie, and lie so much. But every now and then, I guess we could call it a Freudian slip, they end up telling the truth. And in this case, telling the truth about how they lie so much and set the narrative instead of giving you the information for you to make up your own decisions. They treat you like a half-wit who cannot process information and needs the information to be filtered and processed for you. It's absolute condescension, and it's, of course, the technocratic and corporate elite, the media elite as well, setting the stage, controlling the narrative, and by extension, controlling culture and the world. It is the biggest existential threat to mankind. And so we gotta talk about this, guys. CNN, once again, essentially proving us all right that they're a bunch of hacks setting a narrative instead of covering the news. So let me show you guys exactly what happened on CNN. Let's talk about it, and then let's delve into just, once again, elitism, and more specifically Democrat elitism, globalist elitism, and try to tie it all in to one coherent video that makes sense. But before we get into any of it, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share the video as much as possible. We are still shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm, hidden from non-subscribed viewers. Now with that out of the way, let's roll the tape. Alright guys, so I watched a whole lot of CNN. You might be asking me, Hivemind, why would you torture yourself? Well, it's because every now and then you get a moment like this, and the feeling of exposing these hacks feels good, but it also feels frustrating. So here's Jake Tapper and CNN's Brian Stelter talking about how they actively avoided giving Kayleigh McEnany a platform on their network because, quote, she lies.
Kayleigh McEnany, I never booked her. Jason Miller from the Trump campaign, I would never book him. I mean, these are just people who they just tell lies the way that, you know, most people breathe. And there was no value in that. I don't view Kellyanne Conway the same way. She was a senior advisor to the president. She was more of a filibusterer and a subject changer, I thought.
Yeah, subject changer. That's right. That's what she would do. Yeah.
Than a liar. And I think it's different. I really do. And there is a risk in just like lumping everybody together. There's a big difference between somebody like Kayleigh McEnany, who just like, this is what she does. She tells lies all the time. She can't acknowledge reality. So I'm just not going to put somebody like that on air.
This, folks, is not journalism. Mr. Reliable Sources and Jake Tapper, who pretends to be a neutral actor, looks like a clean talking head with the suit and tie, feigns legitimacy, almost like some sort of crackhead who happens to be wearing a doctor's robe, and so people take medical advice from that person. Then you immediately go on Jake Tapper's Twitter feed and notice, hey, this guy's as biased as they come. Well, these two dopes openly saying in a casual conversation that we can't have Kayleigh McEnany on our show. Of course not. We can't give a voice to people who disagree with us. Kayleigh McEnany lies. Of course, if you're not pushing left-wing narratives, you're apparently a liar. We've only covered Kayleigh for, 8 months straight on this channel, and she's far from a liar. She's one of the most on-point press secretaries, in my opinion, the greatest press secretary of all time. But CNN can't have someone debunking them and absolutely destroying their narratives. Now, can they? Just think about it. CNN, an acclaimed network, their slogan is this.
This is CNN. The most trusted name in news.
Refuses to platform the White House press secretary. Just think about that. Put that into context. Put that into historical context. What does that say about CNN? Well, it says they're not journalists. They're a left-wing, and not even left-wing, an elitist propaganda outlet. It's not about telling the truth. It's about promoting narratives that are beneficial to the corporate elite. Every single network is the same, Fox News included. Fox News getting slammed recently with Brit Hume pushing this tweet right over here in response to President Donald Trump and one of his statements. With apologies to Shakespeare, it will be said of Trump that nothing in his presidency became him less than the leaving of it. Brit Hume, I'm sure, an avid supporter of George W. Bush, talking down to President Donald Trump, who's the greatest president in modern history, hands down, easily since Reagan. These corporate media talking heads aren't even people, folks. They're vessels for those pulling the strings behind the scenes, pushing us further and further into a globalist dystopia of your nightmares. I'm sure you've seen this story around. Vaccine passport may be required for travel in 2021. Don't you find it interesting how this is the narrative that the elites want to push, that you must be vaccinated, you must have a barcode on your cell phone or probably on your damn forehead that'll be scanned as they scan your temperature reading if you want to travel. What's next? A social credit score? All this, by the way, as the media continues to fog and make everything less and less clear, spreading more disinformation and misinformation. And now we have this from the WHO. WHO chief scientist says not enough evidence that COOF vaccine prevents infection.
At the moment, I don't believe we have the evidence on any of the vaccines to be confident that it's going to prevent people from actually getting the infection and therefore being able to pass it on. So I think till we know more, we need to assume that people who have been vaccinated also need to take the same precautions till there's a certain level of herd immunity, of course, that's been built in the population. So again, this is a dynamic and evolving field. And I think our understanding and our recommendations will change as we get more follow-up data from these trials.
And so once again, the American people have absolutely no idea what to believe, namely because conversation and opposing viewpoints are not allowed on big tech platforms. And of course, within the media sphere, they feed us one narrative, then the narrative is debunked, or based on them suppressing information, some people believe the complete opposite. It's just confusion and muddying up the waters over and over again. But it seems as though everything that we predicted, what was it, 8 or 9 months ago at the start of 2020, that the COOF pandemic would be used in a very similar fashion to 9/11 to expand government overreach, reduce freedoms, and enable unelected globalist bureaucrats and the federal government to disregard civil rights and norms of freedom that people just take for granted. And a great example of that is this new idea of a vaccine passport. And just to sprinkle in some hypocrisy of the left, it's funny how Democrats are pushing this idea of a vaccine ID, while there's stories like this about Stacey Abrams. Watch, failed Georgia gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams says Republicans do not know how to win without voter suppression. So vaccine IDs, good. Voter ID, bad. Apparently Republicans can't win without voter suppression. Democrats can't win without the entire media industrial complex lying and spreading propaganda, celebrities actively campaigning for them, billions of dollars from the corporate elitists, lobbyists, and tech companies, algorithms all in their favor, and of course, changing the rules at the last second, you absolute hypocrites, and get out of here with that BS. But let's continue into globalist elitism. After these Democrats and these global elites put everyone's restaurants out of business and give the task of feeding the nation to Jeff Bezos and Amazon or something, as the global elitists end cow farts and the consumption of meat and take away your right to own property, and trust me, you'll like it, as they told you, now the future being spread at the World Economic Forum is 3D printed meat. Look at this. Yep. Alright, so now I guess the government's gonna be feeding us Play-Doh meat, and we're gonna like it, just like we have to accept the loss of property. When I told you guys about the globalist dystopia of your nightmares, I wasn't exactly lying now, was I? It's right around the corner, folks, and it's also happening right in front of your eyes. People need to wake up. It's almost like that's becoming my slogan nowadays, that people need to wake up. But after every single video that I make, it just happens naturally. It's what I have to say. The system continues. The year 2020 has been the most blatant power grab from global elites. It's not a theory, it's overt, and they've admitted it. They've admitted the Great Reset. John Kerry was talking about being a supporter of it. Justin Trudeau pushed the exact same narrative. They openly talk about it at Davos in the World Economic Forum. The year 2020 has also been probably the worst year for small business in recent history. It's been the greatest wealth transfer to the elite, probably in recorded history, as Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and Bill Gates and every tech company out there have made billions and trillions of dollars collectively, while you suffer and the government gives you a $600 check, as they say,
"We're sorry."
And so once again, the same slogan stands. You're going to take that $600 and you're going to be happy. Wake up, folks. It's happening. It's overt and it's happening right in front of your eyes. But that's what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share the video as much as possible. We are still shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm. I wonder why. Hidden from non-subscribed viewers. But now I got to get back to work because there's a whole lot of hypocrisy that must be exposed on a daily basis. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.